All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. We've been talking databases, and in particular, we've been going over the third edition of SQL, A Beginner's Guide by Andy Opel, and Robert Sheldon. And we are up to Chapter 11 of the 12 that we're going to be going through. And Chapter 11 and 12 are probably two of the harder chapters in the book. Chapter 11, as you can see here, talks about accessing multiple tables. So we're going to talk about performing basic join operations, joining tables with shared column names, using the condition join, and finally performing union operations. All right. Normally, what I do when I'm reading the text is I'm a highlighter, so I tend to highlight what I think is the most important. Usually it'll be like a sentence or whatever. Right here, I highlighted this. So there's a lot of important stuff in here, but I'm going to start in a little different manner by showing you something here. In fact, I just don't like the fact that you can see behind this. Maybe you like that. I don't know. But I'm going to come back in here again and restart MySQL -u roots, use Acme, and I didn't mean to lie to you, but what I did forget to do was to come back and add those salaries back in, the ones that were shown right here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to pause the video for a minute, add those salaries back, and then come back. All right, I did a bunch of update statements, and I now have all of the salaries back again. And I gave Mr. Knott a salary as well. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how I learned to do what are called database joins. So we're going to imagine for a minute here that I was contacted by my boss who said that she would like to have, I'm working for Acme, and my boss said she would like to have a report with everyone's first name, last name, department name, which is not in here, salary, and the city in which they live. In fact, let's make it simpler than that. First name, last name, department name, and salary. All right? Well, I can get the first name, and I can get the last name, and I can get the salary from here, but the department name is in the departments table. So I need to combine information from two tables. All right? Now, I don't want to do this. I don't want to say select star from, for example, employees, comma, departments. Notice if I say that, I get 72 rows back. What the heck is this? And there's a bunch of people. What it does is it does what's called a Cartesian product join. It gives me every possible combination. So everybody was working in every department or whatever. It's not what I want. But what I do want is I want to say this. Now I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to do some overkill on here. All right, so what I want is I want to select, and I'm going to say here E dot, and we'll explain all this in a minute. First name, E dot last name, D dot depth name from department name, and E dot salary from employees, E departments, D where E dot department name equals D dot department name. Let's see if I wrote that correctly. Unknown column, E dot depth name. Oh, that was the number. I wrote it wrong. All right, so select this. Whoops, select this from here. Where I don't want department name, I want department number. My error, I apologize. And lo and behold, there's my information. So I got the first name, last name, and salary from the department table, and the department name from the departments table. So how did I do that? How did I pull off that magic, so to speak? Let's concentrate right here on what did work, not on the error message. I apologize for that. All right, first thing I did was I created aliases for my table names. The alias is E for employees and D for departments. I could have called them anything I wanted to, or I actually could have left them blank. So in other words, I could have written that like this. And notice I still get the same information. And the reason for that is first name only exists in the employees table, last name only exists in the employees table, department name only exists in the departments table, and salary only exists in the employees table. Now, many SQL programmers do what I just did right there. In other words, what they do is they do this. Which maybe is a little overkill, but you're saying, I know that first name is in the employees table. I know that last name is in the employees table. I know that department name is in the departments table. And I know that salary is in the employees table. All right. Now I added these aliases. I don't even have to do that. Okay. It makes it a lot nicer because there's less typing that I have to do. But let's get rid of the aliases. If I do that, I believe I have to say employees dot department number equal departments dot department number. Whoop. It's employees, not employees, so that's my error. That should be where employees. And again, notice I get the same information. So I've just shown you multiple ways of doing the same query. All right. The way that I showed you earlier, I want to go back to this because this is the way that people typically do it. It's like that, where we alias our table names. So employees E, departments D, and notice we alias them after we use them. But from now on, as far as the system goes, every time we use employees, we have to use E instead, and every time we use departments, we have to use D instead. So this is not only done, but it's done well in that it is showing right here, it's very specific in what we're looking for. This is also, just so you know, this is called an equijoin. So we are joining like columns. Now, what I showed you was the way I learned to do this. There is yet another way that you can write the same query. In fact, I'm sure there's more than one way. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to get to them. Let's do one more, and then we'll actually go back to the chapter. So that is, what if the boss says, hey, that's great. I love what you did, but I'd like you to add one more thing. Two more things. I'd like you to, for whatever reason, also add the city and the state where the person lives. All right? So we want to add city and state onto the end of this. So I'm going to put in here c.city, c.state, but now I need to also add city, no, that was zip city state, I believe. Zip city state, which we called C, but that's okay. All right. And we have to not only say where this, but also and e.zip equals c.zip. And there you go. Now we've combined information from 3 different tables. Notice when we did this, we needed 2 where conditions. We needed to join the employees table with the departments table on the department number field. We also needed to join the employee and the zip city state table on the zip field. This is pretty impressive stuff. So I'm going to stop right here because I'm already at 12 minutes and I know that's not long, but I want to come back then and go over what's in the book. But I just decided for whatever reason, be it good or bad, to show it to you like this to start. All right, so I am going to come back and actually start going over what's in the book in just a couple minutes.